So I'm gonna start with. Obviously, we're grading Mario Party on a Mario Party scale, not a general video game scale.
Yeah.
So this Mario Party compared to other Mario Parties, based on all the criteria of it being a Mario Party, we'll review each section of the game itself.
I feel like it would be a good idea if we put.
If we
put the game in sort of a time capsule, I suppose. Like, let's pretend that the other games didn't come out yet.
Okay, I see what you mean. It's kind of the same thing with Ocarina of Time. A lot of people like to.
It's a little unfair to compare something to something that came out much later.
Yeah, because when I tell a lot of people, like, I've met people who've never played Ocarina of Time before, or never even played Zelda, or have been wanting to. And I always tell them, if you're going to do that, play Ocarina of Time first. Because I guarantee you, if you don't play Ocarina of Time first before you play Breath of the Wild, more than likely I feel like Breath of the Wild will probably skew your opinions of Ocarina of Time, because Ocarina of Time was, yes, at the time it came out, it was an open world game. It technically is an open world game, but that was the first time Nintendo attempted to do a 3D Zelda game. So there's limitations at that point. It's open world, but there's still a linear progression within the game. You can go off the beaten path here and there a little bit, but you can do some things out of order, but for the most part, it's still a linear game. You get a point A to point B to point C until you get all the way to Z. There's really not a lot of jumping around in the letters. So, in that aspect, I think we should treat Mario Party 1 as if Mario Party 2 was never released yet. We're back in 98. When the game first came out. And the lawsuit just came out for Tug of War.
Yeah.
So, now that's out of the way. This is a Mario Party review, not a video game review. Starting with the boards. Obviously, we did a tier list, which is already on the channel. We got... Most of the boards they're at least decent. There's no bad boards. C or better. And I think, as far as a Mario Party is concerned, that's good. Because sometimes you have some of those Mario Parties where there's just bad boards. Mario Party 4, for example.
There's no bad boards. There's no overwhelmingly good boards. It's kind of like the saying, no news is good news.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's no S boards, but there's 3 A boards and 3 B boards. That's the 6 out of the 8 boards. The 6 out of the 8 boards that are at least B or above. There's only 2 which are still good, just with a caveat. Luigi's Mansion, not Luigi's Mansion.
I wish.
In A, we have Luigi's Mansion.
You said it again.
Gosh. In A, we have Luigi's Engine Room, Mario's Rainbow Castle, and Bowser's Magma Mountain. In B tier, we have DK's Jungle Adventure, Yoshi's Tropical Island, and Wario's Battle Canyon. In C, Peach's Birthday Cake and Eternal Star. They're all good boards, it's just 2 with caveats. To bring the skill and luck into it, there's definitely a varying degree between all 8 boards of skill and luck. And I would say a pretty good balance of, you can kind of pick and choose what you want. You want a lot of luck involved, then you choose Wario's Battle Canyon. If you want only skill, I would say the first top 3 boards, the 3 boards in A, they're pretty much all skill based. Except for maybe Luigi's Engine Room, which kind of strikes that balance of both perfectly. 8 maps here, boards. You have different flavors of what kind of skill versus luck you want for the game. So you have choices. Next, we'll go ahead and get onto the mini games. Did you have anything else you want to say about the boards, or?
No, I'd say you were pretty on point with that.
I guess we can go ahead and give it maybe give the boards an overall score. Honestly, we can still tier it Mario Party 1 board games are S, A, B, C.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do a balancing act, I would say probably B.
B, like high B.
Yeah, B plus. Yes.
Which is fine. It's a first game. Yeah. I feel like a first game should always have a middle ground. It should always be a middle ground, and then other games will deviate from that.
Yeah.
So
unless you're Mario Party 9.
Yeah. A first game is usually always going to be a B tier. A or B tier, because they're still testing the waters with it.
Yeah, I would agree. So for a first Mario Party, the boards are excellent for first Mario Party game, but still B+. Room to improve. So we're gonna get into the mini games. I think when we did the mini game tier list, we could quickly see there was a lot of mid mini games, which is, again, when you talk about the first Mario Party, I guess it's to be expected. Not every mini game is going to be a hit, and then you have a lot of these mini games that are just, I feel like in my opinion, are just too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking like all these mini games. Most of them are just too easy. Like, they're not hard, unless you put the computers on the hard and you're doing any of the button mashing mini games, and otherwise they're all pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7. We have 7 mini games in S, and I'm pretty sure all 7 of those mini games made it over into Superstars. Yeah, all 7 of them. Bombs Away, Bumper Balls, Crazy Cutters, Facelift, Hot Rope Jump, Mushroom Mix-Up, and Shy Guy Says. Yeah, they're all 7 of those are in Superstars. So
yeah,
we're definitely of the majority who agree that these are the best mini games across the Mario Party series.
They were some of the best, but also a few of them were the worst.
Yeah.
I think there's a good balance, because if I remember correctly, most of the things that we rated were C was very dominant.
Yeah, C is dominant. It has 7, 14, 15 mini games.
And I'm pretty sure B was next in line.
B and actually A and B were tied.
Oh, okay then.
So it's definitely more. I would say it's top heavy. It's B and up. It have more mini games than C and down. Even though C is the more dominant one out of the. Actually, I can do math right here if you want. 7. Oh, actually, so I was wrong. I just did the count, and actually most of the mini games are actually C below.
Most of them.
Yeah, the majority. It's pretty close. It's 20. It's 27 to. It's 26 to 24. Actually, no. It's 27 to 24. There's 51 mini games according to this tier list. Which, there's 50 in the base game. When you unlock the Bumper Ball Maze, you get 3 different versions of the maze, which are technically 3 separate mini games. But
yeah,
in practice, it's just one mini game, just different versions of it. So 51 mini games, technically speaking. So 27 plus 24 is 51. Just 27 mini games are C and below. 24 are, and like I said, I think that kind of lines up sort of with the boards, where you want at least close to half of the mini games being good.
I think that it being a first game and a lot of things being first time, I feel like a lot of things being in C starts to show the negative light of that, but it's not overwhelming. It's not an overwhelming negative light.
Oh yeah.
It's
kind of like we were saying when we're doing the mini games. If it's in C, it's not an offensive mini game. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not offensive. It's just
for me,
like, whatever.
The C tier should be reserved for ones that are just kind of there, just meh.
Yeah, you don't grow. You really don't groan. You don't complain about it too much. It's kind of like, okay, this mini game, okay. When you get to D and below, that's when you're like, no, I don't want this mini game. Or D, you get a groan. F, you're just like, absolutely not. Because I tell you, you can ask Caitlin when we were getting near the end of beating Mario Party, my groans got worse every single time I saw Handcar Havoc. Like, it was getting worse as the series progressed. And there was times like we got near the end of the game, like on Eternal Star.
Yeah.
We got Handcar Havoc a couple times, and I literally did not play the minigame. I put the controller down and said, I'm not playing. I'm not doing it. I don't care if I lose. I really don't. I'm not doing it. That's how you know a minigame is bad, when you literally put the controller down and you're not even going to even try to be competitive. Which I really didn't need to, because the game was kind of in hand at the time, so it didn't matter if I lost. That's kind of part of it too. Now, if I was
even if a minigame is bad, you can't really fault anybody for that, because, like I said, it's a first time. Nobody knew it was going to be bad until it released.
Yeah.
And I don't think this was a game that really, like, most games back then, they didn't really have a beta or a playtesting kind of thing that they had fans come in and try.
Yeah. Well, if you want to split it up between C and above, and then D and F are kind of like their own category, then absolutely it's top-sided. for mini games.
I'm gonna say this: if we're to give this a rating, it's not gonna be at the fault of anybody. It's just I'm trying to think of this: the number of where the mini games end up, or where the boards end up, or anything like that. I don't think that's going to negative. I don't think that should put the game in any sort of light.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think they should speak for the game overall.
Yeah. So if you asked me right now to give it a letter grade, I give it a B, a solid B.
Yeah, I'd give it a solid B.
Not much
it's a middle ground, but for our first game, that's what you're looking for.
Anyway, so yeah, so B+ on the boards and B, a solid B for the mini games. That's a great score for our first Mario Party. It really is.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Now, funny enough is I've watched like some people like play Mario Party for the first time since it came out on Switch NSO.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people rag on the game bad, like this game is horrible. I'm like, what are you talking about? Have you not played Mario Party 9? That's a horrible mini game. I've never even played it, and just looking at it looks bad.
10 too.
10 is awful. 10 is one of the worst mini games. One of the worst video games I ever played. Period. It's not worse than Dragon Ball Z Sagas, but it's close.
Dragon Ball Z Sagas.
Yes, that is one of the worst video games I've ever played. Period. Actually, the worst. I'll play Alma's Adventure, either one, on 64 before I play Dragon Ball Z Sagas ever again.
Yeah, at least it doesn't feel like it kind of feels like. Never mind. I forget what I was saying.
We're going off on a tangent anymore.
I know what I was trying to say, but I didn't feel like it was saying.
We're not even talking about Mario Party anymore.
Yeah.
So, okay. Actually, there was one more thing I wanted to bring up that I liked about Mario Party 1, especially when it comes to the mini games.
Right.
That we didn't mention. That I think is a plus, in my opinion. So, I don't know if you noticed this, but some of the mini games in Mario Party 1, you can actually lose coins.
Oh, yeah. In some of the mini games, that's the entire point of the mini game.
It's kind of hard to remember which mini games you lose coins are. Did you know in Bobsled Run, if you lose 10 coins?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I didn't know that either. I'm like, why?
Usually mini games where the fate of the person losing is uncertain. Like if they fall into a pit or something.
No. Like, if both racers are still in the course and make it to the end, sometimes, usually the first player gets in and makes it, and then the second player, when the second place team, they'll go in and hit the wall, and the game makes them hit the wall, and they jump out of the bobsled like they're injured or something. That's just the scene of the game, the way they do it. And you lose 10 coins. I'm like, I didn't even fall off the map or anything. Why did I lose 10 coins for? It's those kind of things that's kind of like weird. It's like, I didn't do anything to warrant losing 10 coins. And then like
maybe the 10 coins had to pay for the hospital bill.
In Piranha's Pursuit, basically whoever wins or loses basically gives their coins to the other player, to the other team. If you lose Piranha's Pursuit, you lose 15 coins as the skateboarder. If you lose, each player loses 5. That was more, I guess, a little more understandable, but it's still kind of weird. But I do like the aspect of actually losing coins in a minigame versus always earning coins all the time. I think they need to bring that back to some minigames. Okay, so we'll go move on to the side modes, which there's only 3. Minigame Island. Minigame Island is essentially you play every single minigame. That's all it is, in a row, with each minigame having stipulations. You have to win 10 coins, you have to come in first place, you have to do this or that or the other to win the minigame officially. I know in Bowl Over, when you play that minigame, in Minigame Island, you have to hit all 3 players to win the minigame. Which I thought
I do kind of like that.
Yeah, each minigame has a stipulation. You have to at least reach that stipulation to pass the minigame. Sometimes some minigames it's not enough just to win. Like in some of the coin minigames, they want you to at least get 10 coins to win the minigame, that's pretty easy to do in most of them. So there's not really much to say about Minigame Island. It's not offensive. It's fine. It's there. It doesn't hurt the game's score at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, like really. I mean, I get it's there, and I get it's a thing you can do, but like, who's really gonna play that at a party?
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything. Well, remember it's one player, so. One player content when you're by yourself and you have no friends to play Mario Party with. I guess. Pato Skills. Do you remember what Pato Skills is?
Think so.
That's literally the pot in the minigame house. You go into to play the coin stadium minigame board, where the only thing you do is win coins. There's no stars involved. Who has the most coins at the end wins by playing minigames, and yeah, that's it. Again, same thing as minigame island. I would say less so though. It just exists. There's nothing for you there unless you're trying to collect coins to buy some of the items in the game from the shop. Otherwise, there's nothing there. Also, you can play the minigames by themselves, which again exists. It's fine. I would say moving on to luck, skill, and strategy as a topic. I think this game does a pretty darn good job of striking that balance between all three.
Yeah.
And with varying degrees, obviously. Like I said before with the boards, you know, you can choose your flavor of the mixture of the three that you want if you really want to, you know, make it crazy and go completely random with Warriors Battle Canyon, or you want a straight skill-based minigame like Luigi's Engine Room. You know, or if you want a mixture of both on the other boards. Variety is the spice of life. And I think Mario Party strikes a great balance of that variety between those three attributes when it comes to playing Mario Party: luck, skill, and strategy. There's one more thing I want to talk about before I move on to the last topic. I did forget about. I wanted to bring up the shop because, to my knowledge, I think Mario Party 1 was. I don't think it was the only Mario Party, but I think it took a while for them to bring back something like this. But the shop is where you can actually buy game-altering items for the boards. So you can buy 2 items that basically eliminate Boo or Koopa off the map completely, and then there's like random blocks you can buy from the shop that basically pop up randomly within the gameplay of the boards. So you can randomly hit a blue block that gives you the amount of coins that you roll. There's a red block that does the opposite; it takes away the coins that you roll. There's a high dice block which gives you between 8 and 10 roll. There's a block that gives you a low roll between 1 and 3. And there's other multiple items like that kind of alter the game a little bit. And I really wish they would bring something like that back. I think it's really cool that you can alter the game like that. Again, more variety. Just add it on top. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yes. I do think it's a plus. I feel like it puts in. It kind of foresees the future. If another game were to be made after it, that they could, you know, like, I think they might have just been experimenting with ideas.
Yeah, because you can turn those items off and on freely. You don't have to use them.
You don't have to use them, but maybe they were using those as testing grounds for features in the future.
Good point. But they really have not come back to it, or in other cases they turn them into items. They either turn them into items or they turn them into future features that are not necessarily blocks. I can't think of an example on top of my head right now, but there's 10 Mario Parties, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 if you count the mobile, the handheld consoles. So I have to imagine at some point they reuse those assets in a different way, maybe. Not assets, but they reuse those ideas in a different manner. So yeah, we would think that's a plus. Because you can always just turn them off. So if you don't want them, then don't use them. My brother will not be in this part of the video because we forgot to record this part of the conversation. But I wanted to talk about the challenge that Mario Party 1 presents as far as completing the game and how attainable everything is. So obviously on my channel I already have a video on how to 100% Mario Party. So I really won't mention too much of that in this video. So if you want to know more in depth on how to do it, go watch that. If you're playing this game by yourself, I think it's a little too difficult to complete by yourself, especially trying to get the very last board, Eternal Star, where it requires you to get 100 stars to unlock the last board, which I think is a little absurd. It'll probably definitely take you well over probably 100 hours by yourself to completely 100% Mario Party. But I'm not going to hold that against the game too much, because I mean I guess as long as you have people to play with, which is the whole point of Mario Party, it shouldn't be that difficult to complete and do everything the game has to offer. But if you're playing this by yourself, Godspeed and good luck. So we definitely give Mario Party overall, I think, a B, right? Mario Party 1? Give it a
overall B.
Solid B. An overall B Mario Party game. Now, I would like to go ahead and give it an overall video game experience, at least.
An overall video game experience?
Yes. So, outside of Mario Party, if you never played Mario Party before, you jumped into this game. As an overall,
I guess, like, if you were to put this in a tier list outside of Mario Party, is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, essentially, yes.
Now, are these just going to be games you've played?
Well, I have Mario Party 1 in my top 20. Because I've only played roughly about 100 video games my entire life. So there's not a lot of room for Mario Party to shuffle around with other video games that I've not played. So in that aspect, you know, if you're giving this game just as a overall video game experience, not just a Mario Party experience, I still think it lands solidly in like an 80 score, like 80 out of 100.
Yeah.
Just as an overall video game experience, 75 to 80, around that ballpark, as an overall video game. Because video games are meant to take you out of reality and you know, have fun, and Mario Party 1 does that in spades. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing I had lately. It's like, I remember a time when people weren't all like, look how realistic this game is. Oh, look how great this game looks.
Okay, so we're almost done the video. I do want to do like a tease a little bit. So going off what you said, I have some really not necessarily strong opinions, I would say, but just the way the video game industry is heading. I would like to eventually make a discussion video as to the direction of the video game industry, because it's getting very... I think it's kind of like Nintendo in the 80s all over again at this point. Nintendo's really the only one right now that's head and shoulders above everybody else right now as far as video game sales, console sales, and just overall just being good business right now. Sony and Microsoft are both floundering right now in the video game industry. They're closing...
I would like to say this. Not only is it like Nintendo in the sense that they're head and shoulders above everybody else now, but they're head and shoulders above everybody else now right after an age of people who thought Nintendo wasn't even part of the console war.
Yeah.
We just had that over again as well.
Yeah, so okay, we'll save some of this for actual discussion. I don't want to get into a whole rant and stuff about this, but definitely keep it in the back of your head. I want to do this. Yeah. I want to do something like this soon. We actually just sit here and talk about the video game industry and where it's going. Yeah, say that for another discussion, because I do have to get off here. So yes, Mario Party 1, a solid B as a Mario Party game. In my opinion, between 75 and 80, it's just an overall video game. So like a C as an overall video game. A C plus. C plus, B minus.
As middle ground as middle ground can get.
Do you want to plug yourself?
Do I want to plug? Oh, plug myself. Okay. This is pacman9371. You're probably you can link my channel in your description.
That'd work, yeah. This will finally be the end of Mario Party 1. We can move on to Mario Party 2 eventually. So, share and stay square.